years at West Virginia, was a junior college transfer, started as a free safety at the JC level. But when you watch West Virginia at closing time with the game on the line late, Irvin is the go-to guy that delivers his sacks. He's had a lot of production as a pass rusher. This is not a run defender. He reminds me a lot of Antoine Barnes, who led the Chargers in sacks with 11. He's a one-dimensional, one-trick pony right now. Speed rusher, and he's got rare speed to rush.
John, this is a shocking first-round pick. Shocking for, I thought mid-second he had moved up to, not the middle of the first. I mean, you're talking about a guy that produced as a junior and senior, 22.5 sacks, but production dropped as a senior, little inconsistent, although he was handled in some games. I will say this. Talked to Bruce Irvin on ESPN Radio, the Darian Mel show Saturday. He said to Darian and I, I'm going to make any teams that pass me over, pay for it. He thought he'd be a second-round pick. And all those 32 teams, like Maurice Jones-Drew said, hey, 32 teams, I'll wear number 32 for that reason. Bruce Irvin, I don't even think expect to be a first-round pick himself. The fact that he's a mid-first rounder is mind-boggling at this point. There were some off-the-field issues. Morton Adam will address that, why there were some red flags with Bruce Irvin that we thought maybe third round. He ascended up because I think people went back to the tape and saw a kid who got after the quarterback, and they needed a defensive end, Seattle did, but the red flags were there with Bruce Irvin.
Well, they have some shocking new uniforms when you look at them. It's a shocking pick, as you say, for the Seahawks, and Adam Schefter shed a little light here.
Well, Boom, this is one of the most surprising picks, maybe the most surprising pick in the first round. There's a tremendous backstory behind Bruce Irvin, who dropped out of high school, spent 2.5 weeks in jail at that point in time for robbery, earned his GED, enrolled in Mount San Antonio Junior College before enrolling in West Virginia, where he became one of the top pass rushing threats in the country. However, on March 18th, he was arrested and charged with destruction of property and disorderly conduct. According to the police report, Irvin knocked a magnetic sandwich shop sign off the top of a delivery car. Opinion on Irvin was split around the league. There were multiple teams that had him as the top pass rusher in the entire draft, and there were other teams that said he had bust potential all over him and wouldn't touch him. The Seahawks believe he's going to be a dynamic pass rushing force in Seattle, Boom.
Well, and dynamic defense is what Pete Carroll is certainly capable of. He's got a couple of safeties that play that way. That's what they're trying to do, because all of a sudden they're looking up at a team that was 13-3 after a year in which they went 7-9 and won the division. The plot has changed in the NFC West. All right, now the Jets are on the clock, as you might be able to hear here. They do let a few Jet fans come in here, you know, at the 4 levels here of Radio City Music Hall. And our Bud Light Fan Forum question from Bud Light Facebook page comes from Phil Mattingly in New York. Not sure he's related to Don or not, but we'll see. What would be a better pick for the Jets? Offensive lineman or defensive lineman? Well, we're jumping ahead of things with the 8-8 Jets, who are 8-5. Went 0-3 down the stretch, had locker room trouble. They now have Tim Tebow. They were in championship game the first 2 years of Rex Ryan, missed playoffs last year. Do we want to answer the question? O-line, D-line, is that where they go?
I'll say this. I think right tackle is a big need area, but can you get a right tackle in the second round? Maybe Bobby Massey from Ole Miss. We'll see where he ends up. It's obviously going to be tempting to look at Cordy Glenn from Georgia here. Riley Reif, left tackle at Iowa. You can move him to the right side. Or a Quentin Coples or a Melvin Ingram.
Melvin Ingram, Mel. This is Rex Ryan we're talking about. He likes defenses that we can't even draw up. I mean, guys are walking around, I don't know where they are. I've seen Melvin Ingram line up as an outside linebacker, a defensive end, a defensive tackle. He returns kicks. He's on the punt team. Melvin Ingram would be a perfect New York Jet.
What's the concern, though, John? The short arms and only 6'1.5". That's why Melvin Ingram for the 4-3 teams causes some concern. Here you talk about a guy off the edge can get the job done, but it's tempting to look at Quentin Coples. When he played inside as a junior, we talked about defensive tackle, 10 sacks. Quiet early this year, came on late. Coples opposite Muhammad Wilkerson. That's a pretty good defensive line for Rex Ryan. So I think that's a debate going on in that war room. Is it Coples? Is it Ingram? Is it the right tackle? The Jets have a lot of needs.
By the way, there are a lot of people storming in here from Madison Square Garden. The Rangers have just beat Ottawa in Game 7, and the hockey fans are coming in to see the Jets pick in the same couple of minutes. Now, while we have 2 minutes left before they pick, Tim Tebow is a New York Jet. Mark Sanchez is the starting quarterback. Tim Tebow is there to run the Wildcat primarily. He beat Rex Ryan, and he beat new offensive coordinator Tony Sparano last year, so they see up front that it can work with Tebow against them. Will it work with the Jets? Tebow behind Mark
I think
Sanchez.
Tebow works. I mean, Tebow gets more publicity than the rest of the league combined. He's a winner. He's going to be a component in this offense. He's going to make it hard to prepare for the Jets because you'll have to prepare for Sanchez and their regular offense, and then they're going to have to prepare for Tebow in any situation. You're also going to see Tim Tebow as the personal protector on the punt team. Rex Ryan is going to use Tebow creatively, and he's going to use Sanchez and Tebow to win football games. But as you said, they need some help. I don't know who their receivers are going to be. Plaxico Burress is in limbo. Are they going to bring back Braylon Edwards? Where are they going to get a wideout and another playmaker on offense? But I'd be surprised if Melvin Ingram isn't a New York Jet.
But you think it could work? How will Mark Sanchez? Will Mark Sanchez be okay coming off the field 15 times a game?
He's got a great contract. I think he understands clearly what Rex Ryan wants to do. They've been in a lot of shooting matches together. They've been through this for 3 years. The Jets want to win and win the Super Bowl. They've made that loud and clear. And Tim Tebow is going to be another part of their arsenal. End of story.
Got a lot of work to do, John. This is a critical draft for the New York Jets. In the division with Brady, Buffalo's making strides. You mentioned wide receiver. Who was the third receiver all along? Kendall Wright from Baylor. Stock fell just a bit. Stephen Hill, Georgia Tech. That would be a stretch. Quentin Coples. Thought at one time he was a guaranteed top 7 pick. Here he is available in the middle of the first. And Bruce Irvin goes ahead of Coples and Ingram. There you go.
One other note on Tebow, if the Giants don't get in the Super Bowl, et cetera, and this and occupy the back pages, does Tim Tebow even become a Jet? I know they're doing it for football reasons, and I think it's going to work. We love the kid. But if the New York Giants are 8-8 instead of 9-7, they're not in there. And is Tim Tebow somewhere else, like Jacksonville, other than the Jets, to get back on the back pages? I don't know. The back page now will say, Rangers win, Jets pick. So here we go.
With the 16th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Quentin Coples, defensive end, North Carolina.
Well, in studying the draft, which you guys do tons, the two big question marks are, boy, they look great, but at times less filling, were Dontari Poe and Quentin Coples, and they're both gone in the first half of the first round.
Quentin Coples really looks the part. Excellent size. He's very athletic, flexible. He can really bend and twist and turn his body. Very good first step quickness. He can really close. But the effort is way too inconsistent for me, Mel. He disappears this year for long stretches. He gets blocked and stays blocked. He's going to play for one of the premier defensive coaches in football. If anybody can press the buttons to get it out of him, Rex Ryan and his staff can do it. This kid has rare athletic ability, but I think effort is contagious. So is lack of effort. And I did not like the way Coples played his final year in Chapel Hill. I'm like you, I liked him better 2 years ago, particularly when he played inside.
That's the thing when you look at Quentin Coples. Why isn't a kid 6'6", 283 pounds with his type of athletic ability a top 10 pick? Well, because bottom line is, early in the year, there were a lot of games, John, where you're watching Quentin Coples. He's not doing it. He's quiet. Think about 10 of his 13 tackles for loss. 5 of his 7.5 sacks came between mid-October and early November. So he got it together mid-season, carried that through the year. Think about the Senior Bowl and all that, but the bottom line is with Quentin Coples, the talent's there. I think the passion for football, is it there? Rex Ryan, passionate coaches you'll ever see. Can he get it out of this kid, push the right buttons? You think about catching, not attacking. I saw that in too many games this year. Didn't close, didn't finish the way he was capable of. You're seeing plays now where he was at his best. but there were games where he did not play to the level of that talent. Tough kid.